Welcome back to the Paranorm Girl podcast. I am your host, Kristen, and welcome to tonight's impromptu live stream. Trying something a little different with the show, trying some new things out. So let's get this show on the road. 3 weeks ago, I got to sit down with Scott Tompkins of Bigfoot Mapping Project. We had just a really chill, laid back, but informative conversation, not about Bigfoot, but drones and his most recent creative endeavor, the Drone Tracker. It can be found at DroneTracker.app, and I do encourage you guys to go check it out. It's awesome. Pop over there while you listen if you want, or immediately following the show. It's awesome, and reports are still coming in, and there's some weird stuff coming in, despite what a recent announcement has to say. Speaking of the recent announcement, yes, in the 3 weeks since I have spoken to Scott, some things have happened. The government made an announcement regarding the drones. I can't remember exactly how it was all phrased, but basically, bottom line, the FAA was fully aware of the drones the entire time. The FAA had authorized, actually, this large number of drones that was seen over New Jersey. I wrote this down, for research and other reasons. Okay. So there are some problems with this. That may be partially true, but there are some issues. One, these drones and these anomalies have been seen worldwide. This is not just a localized phenomenon for New Jersey. I just saw one this morning. It was just posted a couple of days ago off the coast of Africa. So these reports are still coming in, and they're happening everywhere. Second, some of these reports do not quite fit the narrative or that narrative. And then finally, I just find it strange that the FAA and the FBI, who I believe were both asked when this was all going on, this was all going down, and they said they didn't know anything. I mean, I just find it strange that they didn't just say that, yep, we know, calm down, everybody, calm down. And they didn't say anything. So I don't know. Something strange going on. I will introduce Scott here in a second. Let me just say hello to some folks commenting in the chat. My rental company, well, that could be a couple of people. Hi. Heidi, thank you so much for jumping on. Jason, thank you. I know you're going to be popping in and out. I will be watching the replay of that, and I will be sharing that because that looks awesome. I'm sorry to miss it right now. And Lee's going to moderate for me. Awesome. All right. Well, let me do this intro and let's get the show started. My guest is a researcher, data analyst, and podcaster. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in GIS from SUNY and is the creative mind behind the Bigfoot Mapping Project, an innovative crowdsourced and data-driven platform that tracks and visualizes Bigfoot sightings across the globe. His expertise in Geographic Information Systems has recently been applied to another mapping endeavor, created to help us get a handle on yet another mysterious phenomenon, not taking place within the forests of Earth, but in our skies. DroneTracker.app was created with one goal in mind: to figure out where and when these drones are appearing in real time. Or so says the Facebook post of his that I lifted that from. All right, I'm going to jump into the chat with you and watch the replay with you guys. If you have any thoughts, add them to the comments. If you have any questions, add them to the comments. I will do my best. If there are questions I cannot answer, I will get those to Scott for you. I will. I think that's it up front. Oh, hang around till the end if you can. I will be back up on screen to do the outro with you guys and properly sign off. But for now, please enjoy my conversation with Scott Tompkins. So you got the podcast you, of course, are the creator, the brain behind Bigfoot Mapping Project, which is such an incredible it's like its own thing, but it's this incredible like tool and just forward momentum for the field of Bigfoot, research into Bigfoot, gathering that kind of data and having it all collected into one place. Like it is such a neat resource. And it's huge. It's exploded. I think most every Bigfooter knows of that project. You got a lot on your plate already. And yet you were like, let me just add one more thing. You have created the drone tracker, which is
Hmm.
outstanding. I'm looking at it now. I'm going to share it with the audience in just a little bit. But before we get into that, because we are going to get into the details of it, the reports, how to submit, all of the things, the patterns. Oh, I'm a sucker for patterns. But before all of that, um, never in a million years did I think I'd have you on and not talk about Bigfoot, but talk about drones. Please,
Hey,
for my
strange
hey,
things.
stranger things have happened. For my audience, though, why don't you give us a little intro, little background on Scott Tompkins?
Sure, and I promise I'll be brief because if you let me, I will talk forever. So, a little bit about me. I'm a native New Yorker, but I live in here. I live in Houston, Texas here, and I run the Bigfoot Mapping Project, as you've already pointed out. And I'm grateful for all the nice things you have to say about it. Thank you. That was a brainchild of being out in the field doing seismic exploration and talking to people and realizing that there was an oral history and some anthropological aspects about Bigfoot that would otherwise go by the wayside if they weren't collated and organized in like a database.
Yeah.
One, and then tying location to that too really helps us analyze and look at things in a geographic context. So that's the Bigfoot Mapping Project in a nutshell, right? And then I do a lot of other analysis that I publish on Instagram with that data, since my background is GIS, Geographic Information Systems. And I enjoy sharing insights about Bigfoot, but also what GIS can do and how it can help us understand real-time phenomena, i.e., the drone tracker, like we're going to discuss today, uh, how Bigfoot sightings are occurring, what patterns and trends we can see, what we can pull out from the data, hotspots, where Bigfoot or animals are traveling, all kinds of things that GIS can do just in that arena alone. Not to mention emergency management, forestry, Google directions. You probably use GIS every day and
Sure.
don't even
Mhm.
realize that you're touching GIS and benefiting from it. So shedding some light on that through apps like Bigfoot Mapping Project, which is really my passion project, and then also putting something together in real time like the DroneTracker.app, um, I think helps people see phenomenon and events that are going on around them in a new way, and then also hopefully highlights the capabilities of the technology that we have in GIS. So just a little bit about me, in a nutshell.
I
I like to
that
tinker.
that
ADHD at its best and at its worst.
No,
So
I think this is a good example of it at its best, because I think it's helping in ways, that we can't even see just yet, and
just
helping
yet,
a lot of
yes,
people, yeah, to understand that information, and know that they're not alone. You know, somebody in the paranormal field, emphasis on paranormal and weird. Sometimes all people need to know is that they're not alone, and just to see the massive amount of other experiences and sightings and reports, and to see that all in one place presented. Um, okay, what? Why drones though specifically? Why that aspect of what was going on? Like why drone? Like you launched from Bigfoot. You spent years in Bigfoot tracking that kind of information, and then all of a sudden, this seems so separate.
it is. Really, occasionally I will do some editorials, if you will. I don't know what else to call them, but I will share maps or my take on certain things, and I don't really politicize things. I'll just share how I digest information. So,
Okay.
um, I will take some, like the fires, for example. I just did a podcast episode where I highlight and I show people the perimeters of the fires, how many tax parcels and how many houses and how many acres. And I talk through that, what it really looks like. And I try to put it in context of how many people it's affecting via population density. So I
Mhm.
step through that in like an interactive session in the latest episode that I just put out. And the drones drew my attention because it is such a controversy as far as what are they? What are people seeing? Is it a threat? Is it not a threat? What's happening on the ground? What are they in proximity to? What are the patterns we can see? And I noticed that there was a lot of speculation in the media, on social media, and there was a lot of data points out of that really were just pictures that you saw on the news, and you're like, well, all right, what
Mhm.
does that mean?
Right.
Where is that happening? Yeah, great, that's a green and white blinking light, but where's that happening? How many other people have seen it? How many other drones are in flight around that area? So it just one day I was like, you know what? I want to know what this is. And I have the means to make a tool where I can collect data that will maybe help me figure this out. It may
Mhm.
not, right? I'm in the strictly information gathering phase. I do have some insights like the hot spots in the map that you'll pull up. And then
Mhm.
I also have military based data and things like that. I don't know if how far you drill down into the map, but
Ooh, yeah.
we can look at
Mhm.
that too. So we
Yeah.
can look at proximity to those types of areas in the map. And I
Okay.
just put all that data there so that I can share the kind of research that I'm doing and also put it out to other people who might look at it a completely different way
Mhm.
than I do and come up with some insights because I really hope that they're harmless. I sincerely hope they are. I really just want to get to the bottom of it. And I think nobody else is going to do it for us, just like Bigfoot, right?
Mhm.
Nobody else is going to tell us the truth. Not to be whatever cliche, right? But nobody's just going to come right out and tell us what's happening. We have
Yeah.
to find things out for ourselves, and the best way we can do that, or at least that I can offer to help to do that, is through this crowdsourcing of. It's very parallel to what I do, the Bigfoot Mapping Project, as far as like crowdsourcing sightings and information about those sightings. So it just occurred to me, I was like, let's get this out there and see if we can figure it out. And it was a spur of the moment. I think I built that app. Literally, I think I built it in 3 hours and just put it out
Oh,
as a
whoa.
website. So it was very quick and dirty. It's
Wow.
nothing close to what I've invested in the Bigfoot Mapping Project as far as
Mhm.
functionality and structure and things like that. This is a quick and dirty field deployment of crowdsourcing, just in a real time type environment.
Mhm. Well, it would seem people have responded. Let's go ahead and pop this guy up here. So I'm gonna zoom out and just show folks that these sightings are occurring not just in the U.S., not just over New Jersey. They're occurring all over the place. So that was really impactful here for me to see when I first popped on here. Um, okay, let's start basic with this in case anybody has not heard of the drone tracker, how to use it, any of that. How do we lay people read this? Tell us what's going on here.
Sure. So first, I'll tell you how to get there. If you want to go interact, it's just simply DroneTracker.app is the website, and what you're looking at face value on the screen here are all of the sighting points. So this is a point-based data collection. So you try to mark on the map when we go through the survey as closely as possible to where you approximate that drone to be when you're making the report or where you saw it, right? I mean, I guess there's going to be different ways to interpret how to make a report. Um, but when you're looking at the map on the left, what you see is the red neon type points, and those are the individual sightings.
Mhm.
As they get closer and closer to each other, if you go up the East Coast, you'll notice that there's like a blob of heat. It looks like,
Mhm.
white hot, yellow hot. And those are hot spot layers that dynamically, as the map is updated, adjust to reflect the density or the hotspots of where the most drone reports have occurred. So it gives you an area as opposed to individual sightings of where the most sighting or the most reports have occurred. So then you can start to maybe analyze in a different way what's going on, what's in that area, why are they flying around? Because obviously they're not just static in one place; they're going to be in
Mhm.
that area. So it kind of gives you an idea better of where are they really occurring, what's the perimeter around that, and you can kind of see the heat in the map as there's a cluster of points. And
Okay.
that's really useful for a lot of different reasons, right? Just understanding what's happening, how many people are seeing it, because you'll notice that I'll point out that where the population's the densest, you also have the most reports, right? So
Right.
some of these are probably duplicated, and those are things that we need to analyze and figure out. But um, that could also reflect that there are a lot of drones in the air at the
Mhm.
same time. So that's what we're looking at on the map. Effectively, it's nothing more than that as far as just reporting. It just regurgitates the survey that you see on the right. As you submit, that point shows up in the map, and then the hot spots adjust accordingly. And then the
Is
survey, as you're scrolling, go ahead.
Oh, I was just, when somebody submits, is it put up automatically?
Live, live.
Wow,
I
wow.
do I do review them, but this is where it's different than the Bigfoot Mapping Project.
Mhm.
This is live, real time, and I do review them because we do. I mean, obviously, there's trolls. It's the internet. There's trolls, right? So
Sure, yeah.
I do review the data that's been submitted, and if there's something that's clearly a troll or just garbage data, it does get deleted. But that's when I have the time to go through and edit, usually nightly. So
Okay,
um,
okay.
it is real time, and that's really I didn't want to gatekeep, I guess, on this one,
Mhm.
if you will. So I thought over curating might shoot me in the foot if we needed to react quickly, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that's where it's a little different than the Bigfoot mapping project.
Well, I had, couple of questions because you were talking about the heat map aspect of it. So, over here in Australia, now, so I see two distinct reports here, yet we've got a heat map around in the radius of these two reports. So were these like you were describing the heat map as it's just like very big sightings, or there's just a lot of these sightings? Because I wasn't sure about the Australia one. That one caught my eye.
Yeah. So the heat map is I have an area that
Hmm.
it expands. It's a custom setting that I've created based on really my best judgment, right? As far as like what would be the minimum distance where it would be these would be visible, or
Hmm.
trying to extrapolate an area out of that small point that a person is reporting. So it's based on a geographic area plus how many of those reports occur within a
Okay.
certain proximity of each other. That really gives it the value of heat in the map. Is it red? So if there were three more points, you might see yellow there, right? There's a threshold that I've assigned behind the scenes in how it symbolizes in the map. And it's like, okay, if there's five within this distance of each other, then it gets this
Hmm.
color. You know what I mean? That
Okay. Okay.
type of weight that it gets
I
for the area.
I got you. Okay, so probably in turn with that, because I noticed a little different color variation with the actual pinpoints themselves. So like when we're looking at this more like purplish one, dimmer one, that would be just in its own little distinct.
Cold. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
Okay.
cold. It might be one by itself, and they heat up as there are more reports closer to each other. Yeah, when you see
Okay.
purple or blue like that, it's just cold. So
Gotcha.
it's isolated in a way.
Okay. Okay. Um, None in my area yet. I'm waiting. uh,
While you're scrolling around the map, though,
yeah.
one thing jumps out to mind. If you hide, see, there's an arrow in the survey that you have up, a little where you can kind of click on the left side. It's pointing to the right. It's like a little half. Yeah.
There we
If
go.
you close that, there are some tools up top that are hidden behind there,
Oh,
little
oh,
hidden
okay.
gems. So if you click that legend there, that tells you what's in the map. So it
Oh,
gives you an idea
whoa.
of exactly. You don't have to figure it out for yourself. It does tell you.
Okay,
And then if
I
you
didn't.
scroll down,
This is like the secret menu.
yeah, it's hidden behind it's hidden behind there. Um, so you'll notice that I included military installations, ranges, and
Yeah.
training areas in the map.
Mhm.
I've also, if you scroll down, I've got flight restricted areas in the map, and then I've also got prohibited areas. And then if you scroll further down, I've got national security flight restrictions also in the map, and those are dynamic. So they only draw, you know, as they're live restrictions, right? If they're updated areas. So
Mhm, mhm. Okay, what are we talking about prevalence-wise with these sightings around military installations and, like, airports or flight restricted areas? What have you seen thus far?
there are a lot
Mhm.
near military installations. Like if you zoom in on New Jersey, I think there's one in northern New Jersey. Forgive me, I don't know the names of all the bases, but you can see on the
Let's
if you
see,
zoom
where
in a
where
little
where
further, and they should draw. There's a testing ground just under on the left. If you zoom in, see that under the one hot spot there.
Oh my gosh,
Sorry,
I'm
you're
not
driving. So
I
sorry,
know.
on the right. On the
To the
right
right.
there, to move your cursor, stay where your cursor is, and just go due west. See the one that's intersecting that weird shape there, polygon? If you click that polygon, it will tell you what that base is.
Okay, is this the one
If
you're
you
looking at, the
zoom in, it should
McGuire
be
the
labeled
McGuire
as well.
Dix joint base here?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, that's
okay,
right.
alright, this guy.
So yeah, you can see that that one is very close to that military base, right?
Yeah, yeah, sorry, I'm opening it.
No, go for it. That's what it's for.
Okay, yeah, so this will get the viewers an idea what's in here, what these look like when they submit. Okay.
Right. And then some people attach photos to this. You can click and see what people, if they snapped a photo or a video, they can attach it here and you can see it in the pop up when you click on the report.
Okay.
Um,
So there is an icon that'll say there is an attachment to this?
it'll just show up
Okay,
as you
okay,
scroll.
okay.
It'll just, populate as you scroll. Another nice tool that I've added in the top right there
Mhm.
is the filter, the second circle there. So you can filter by date ranges.
Oh, right on, okay.
So you can do between a date range or you can do on a specific day.
Let's see something, recent. Let's do this last
I think
week.
there was one on the 16th that was, yeah,
Let's
if you
do
do a
on the
range
16th.
between
Okay,
whatever.
okay, let's see.
And then the little toggle button right up above that, see where it's like a pill button in the top right hand corner? That
Mhm.
turns the filter on,
Oh, wow.
turns it
This
on and
is
off.
this has really got some, like, bells and whistles, I had no idea.
It does, yeah. I hid them there. For the truly interested, right? You've got to dig to find the
I
treasures.
did, it was hidden, Scott. Okay, alright, so viewers, this is just in the last 7 days. This
Yeah,
is
those hot spots kind of obscure it. I may add the ability to
uh,
turn those on and off. Um,
okay. Were
but
there were there any like data points when you were designing this that you actually decided against putting up there at the start? I know it was such a quick process. You said you put it together in 3 hours. Was there anything you were like, later?
not really per se. The one thing that I did learn that I needed to do, it's weird. So this is an interesting occurrence. It's interesting. I'm not exactly answering your question, but I kind of am. uh, in short, I added everything I could think of to the survey,
Hmm.
to the questionnaire. However, once this went live, within I don't know, 2 hours of this going up, it was attacked by some kind of spammer or something, and
Oh,
there was dots that covered the entire globe. They hit me with 75, almost 8,000 fake reports. And I
what?
don't know who did it because the way that you submit it's interesting. The way that you submit the form, you have to fill it out and hit submit, fill it out, hit submit, fill it out, hit submit. So it's almost like somebody had robots. You know how they have bots going through and they can
Yeah.
automate things using bots that click and impersonate humans. That's why you have to do like a CAPTCHA. right? That proves you're not like a bot. Um, so I got hit with like a bot attack within 2 hours of putting this site up there. And to me, that means I was onto something, right? That
Right.
where
Right.
else would they find this DroneTracker.app put out by some tinfoil hat Bigfoot guy and be like, we've got to, make this go away, right? So
Mhm.
I actually figured out how to block them and get rid of those fake attacks. And then also on the form, you'll notice at the bottom, if you expand it again, I should have done this from the beginning, but I
Right.
added oh, if the survey,
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
if you
okay.
hit that button and expand it,
Mhm.
you'll notice at the very bottom after you get through all the questions that I added a captcha. That's why that really helps prevent bot attacks because you have to read that and type it in, and bots generally don't have the functionality to do that. There's some AI that could probably get past that, but yeah,
Dang.
it's
How
very,
how
very interesting.
how did you, like, figure out that these were, like, bot submitted reports? Were they kinda weird? Were, like, did they
They were
actually say
weird.
something?
They were all the same, and they were just like obscure information. Uh, it was either somebody that had a lot of, and the speed at which they submitted 8,000, almost 8,000 reports
Right.
was in a matter of a couple hours. And this takes a minute, right, to go through, fill out and hit submit, and it takes 5 or 10 seconds to actually be submitted through, the internet back to the database and to confirm that there was a submission. So they parallelized, right? They had to have the site open probably on many machines and then submit reports at the same. There was reports, identical reports coming in with the same timestamp. So I know they were coming
Uh,
in from different machines or at least different browsers, right?
mhm.
Which is insane.
Mhm.
So to me, that is a huge, huge indication that like somebody didn't want this site to stay up or didn't
Uh,
want people to come here and be able to get information out of it.
I think you are onto something that is within 2 hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what you're saying is you got yourself a little CIA spy buddy
Yeah, my FBI
somewhere.
agent's reading
Yeah.
my text as we speak.
He's watching this before we actually go
Yeah,
live with it.
he's gonna chime in here in a second.
Yeah.
That's why my mic wasn't working, the bug was overriding,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, man, they don't want you talking about the drones.
There's some, but I mean, all jokes aside, there is something going on, and,
Mhm.
um, I don't wanna sound too paranoid, but, I do I think that the American people are intelligent enough to be, looped in. We should be aware of what's happening in our skies, over our neighborhoods, over our relatives, everything that's happening throughout the country. Look at those hotspots. That's millions of people, right?
Mhm. Yep,
Up and down the East Coast there in that corridor, and they're like gaslighting you, like, no, this isn't really happening enough to us where we're going to cover it and admit that you guys are all experiencing something. And it's frustrating, right? So this
absolutely.
is
Yeah.
very much a response to that as well, because I think that we are all intelligent enough to interpret, assess, and make our own decisions. And we don't get to do as much media as there is out there. We just don't get to do that. We get curated, filtered messages, right? And some are great, some are correct, some have their best intentions, others don't, right? I think
Mhm.
they're just unbiased, just information for people to interpret and make their own decisions on
That's it. Yeah.
is very important for people to have. And this is one of those things that I can at least help with, right? So that's another reason this is out there.
Well, and like along the lines of what you're saying, I see a lot of parallels, especially with information distribution and not so much like pulling it back or calling people crazy for, okay, okay, you saw a drone. It parallels nicely with the history, the trajectory of UFO history.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying the drones are UFO or anything
No,
related, not saying that,
right.
but it does. And in that, it seems like that initial fervor, that hubbub of drone activity, everybody was going crazy, in during the holidays. It seems to have died down or like calmed down. Does the data support that though?
There are still reports coming in consistently
Yeah.
of drones.
Okay.
I would say the initial spike, um, really there was just an initial spike, but there are still reports trickling in. I wouldn't say with the magnitude at which they were coming in over the holidays, but I mean, I think that goes back to my point too of, I'm not doing a ton to publicize this either. This was on Reddit for a while and things like
Mhm.
that. Um, but people, the media cycle, the news cycle has now we're focused on the LA fires. Now we're focused on what's next. So,
Mhm.
people, this may still be happening, but people aren't thinking about it because now we're on to the next story, right? So
Yeah.
I think that it has some influence on it as well because we don't get a chance to dig, right? Before
Yeah.
we're bombarded with the next thing. And we don't get to do that
Mhm.
before we're told that, oh, that wasn't important or that didn't actually happen like that. So I think that's a symptom of, the news cycle in a way. I'm not saying that, we're project, what's the word?
Blue
Blackbird, was that
blue
the one where they
is it
manipulate the media
oh.
or something like it?
Wait, with the Blackbird, I think that was a crop circle thing, but I think
Was it?
yeah, it was a total manipulation
You know
thing.
which project I'm talking about though. Now I'm
Is it Blue Book? The Blue Book?
not Blue Book,
Oh, Bluebeam. I'm just gonna start
Blue.
naming projects.
I think it was Operation Mockingbird. I said Blackbird,
Oh,
Mockingbird.
okay, okay.
Yeah, I was close. I wanted to be an ornithologist. Little fact about me, so I'll throw out all kinds of bird species at you. But
Feel like I'm getting all kinds of exclusive information today. I'm enjoying this.
yeah, I'm off. I'm off guard here because I'm not talking Bigfoot. This is pretty like something that's what's the word? That's not in my usual wheelhouse, right? So you're gonna get all kinds of information. But
D do you want to talk about Bigfoot? I could ask you I
that's
mean,
my
I could throw
comfort
you
zone. Weirdly
Oh,
enough, that is my comfort zone. But no,
okay.
I'm very happy to talk about the drones because I do think that this is happening, and this is something that, unlike Bigfoot, many people see it at once, and then it's a shared experience across a huge area, right? Huge populations. This people are seeing this, and they want to know what's happening. And um, again, how else do you understand where it's happening better than a map?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, back to the military real quick. So, like, I think I've heard you say this before publicly, like, many folks are suggesting, and this may be kind of part of the effort to, skew the narrative a little bit, but, many folks are suggesting that, "Oh god, these are just us. These are us. This is military, duh." But, have you seen reports that would support that? Because I've seen a lot of videos, I've seen a lot of pictures, it does not look like anything I've ever seen. I wouldn't automatically assume military, but have you seen any reports that do suggest that's the case?
Yes, I've actually seen some articles recently where they have surveillance drones now that are flying the skies, and those are definitely admittedly military. So whether they're there and what they're surveilling, I don't know. Um, or if they're there just as a plausible excuse, like, oh, it was us the whole time. I
Right,
don't really know, right? I'm not privy to that. I don't want to influence anybody's thoughts on that, but they are out there. There's an article. I'll find it and I'll share it with you for your show notes. So
oh, nice,
I'm not
yeah.
just recalling some fictional article somewhere. I'll find it and I'll share it with you. But that's an interesting question because the airspace that they're flying in generally, it's very unregulated. You don't have to file a flight plan. You don't have to have a lot of information about what you're doing. So in general, a lot of these drones, quote unquote drones, are not really breaking the law. So shooting them down isn't really technically legal, right? Because they're not breaking the law. They're not an
Right,
imminent threat per se. They're not. There's no visible or acknowledgeable intent that they have. They're not hovering around a nuclear power plant. And harassing operations at a military base or anything like that. So
right, right. They're not
it's a
really
that's a
they
tough
haven't really
question.
done
They're
anything
pretty innocuous at the
right,
moment.
right. They're just chilling, man.
So, yeah, it's a very interesting question. Is it the military though? I think that given the past types of tests that the military will do for stealth operations or aircraft and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and then another aspect to think about, and this is maybe what you heard me say was drones have played a huge role in the war in Ukraine.
Hmm.
And I think the military could be, if this is a military test or part of it is a military test, they could be gauging how the public interacts and reports and communicates drone presence in an area using using the American public as a guinea pig, right? And that's
Yeah.
they've done that with all kinds of things. I mean, I can list the test. The one of the worst is the Tuskegee experiment, right? So I mean, go down the list. There's tons of scenarios where they do that, and they still do, right? So is it possible that it's the military doing some kind of test or operation or practice or something? Definitely. Do
Mhm.
I think it is? I don't think so. I don't know what it is,
Okay, yeah,
but there's nothing that really pushes me in that direction yet.
okay. I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, I can extend myself to imagine that, I've heard them described as, "Okay, it looks like a plane. It looks like a plane, but it's just hovering.
Some are
Okay, it's got the red and green lights, like, like an airplane." But I've heard of some other types, and,
orbs.
yeah, I've heard of those.
Hmm.
I guess the appropriate question here is, what are all the species of drones that you have come across?
From that's the analysis I've been able to do is there's two main camps that of reports that people are types of reports that are coming in.
Mhm,
One is drones, and I think to your point that some aircraft that are completely normal aircraft, helicopters, etc., are being mistakenly reported. Right, that's going to happen. People don't, things are far away. They look weird. The atmosphere can distort things. There are uh, in one video I saw, there was a it was identifiable as an Apache helicopter shooting a missile, and I know this because I showed it to my brother. He's an Apache pilot, so he was like,
okay,
"That is
okay.
an Apache." He was like,
Mhm,
"100%." Like, so it's just a matter of can you identify what that is? Now people are paying attention. They don't know what it is. It looks a little weird. It makes it into a report. But
mhm,
then there are also orbs, which don't have those flashing lights, don't have those. They hover more. They move in weird directions. So those are also making it in. So there's a few things going on. And is it the same root cause? I don't know. I don't. I will definitely emphasize that we're in the information gathering stage. I mean, yeah, the map looks bright, but is that enough for me to definitively tell you what's happening? No, I wish it was, but
yeah,
it's not. I mean, it's just not enough information. And that's where we need to, publicize this and get more reports, and then we can start to really see trends other
mm,
than just hotspots, right?
right, right. Well, the orbs, I will say the orbs have been around for a very, very, very long time. People have reported those for, God, hundreds of years, actually, if
Hmm.
you go back. So I don't know, still a mystery. I have my
It is.
thoughts,
I
my
wish I
theories.
wish I had more answers. I'd be
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting. Are they making it into? They are making it onto this map, right? Like you're not deciphering between. Oh, this
nope.
is obviously a drone. Okay, all
I
right.
can't I can't can't really do that, right?
Mhm.
I don't have enough information or
Yeah,
knowledge to do that. So I just I'm just gonna let, just like the Bigfoot Mapping Project, I'm gonna let the data take me where it takes me, right? So
yeah, yeah.
unless it's obviously a troll, I will say that there are some people that have been obvious trolls that gets removed.
So I did see one of those on BMP, and it did make me laugh a little bit. I was like,
They're,
"You are
they
that's so
sneak
dumb."
through. They do sneak through, and I over the holidays I didn't get to get those out of there as fast as I wanted to. But in all honesty, I laugh when I read them too. Some of them are pretty creative, pretty funny. Some are downright offensive, but some are pretty funny.
Oh,
So
man. Yeah, people are they be playing too much. Well, with the types, can you think of any reports that you've received that actually include multiple variants?
Not off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Most of the reports that I've read, if not all of them, are one or the other
Okay.
so far, which is interesting, right? You know, they're
Mhm.
occurring in the same area, but these people are only seeing one type or the other at different times.
Right.
Why is that? Um, those are very good questions. Very
Yeah.
good questions.
Yeah. I was just curious. So, with the data that you have collected thus far, it's still early in the game, but I'm wondering, have you seen any intriguing patterns that you could share?
One that piqued my interest and makes me wonder why there was such a concentration there to be that really that first initial spike I think is what energized this whole phenomenon is really was it is around very big ports on the East Coast and one of the theories is that they were flying so low if they are our government for example
Hmm.
why were these drones flying so low and so slow were they trying to detect something or find something what made it through our port, um, those kinds of questions arise from seeing a pattern like that. Like you can see the hotspot when you zoom over New York, Philly, New Jersey. There,
Hmm.
that's one of our largest port. One of them in the U.S. People come in, goods come in, everything comes in through that area there. And why are they focused on that immediate area? What were the drones doing there? Were they searching for something? I don't know, but that's what it seemed like to me at first is that the flurry of activity there really made it seem like they were focused there for some kind of reason. But again, that's the biggest hotspot, the most reports, and then it's hard to filter out. You have to filter out air traffic and planes that were in the same location at the same time and misidentification. So this is a very tough one to get to the
Yeah.
bottom of.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to take some time, but I'm I'm certain that it will, it's going to keep going. This phenomenon is going to keep going. Like people are paying attention, even if the media isn't reporting on it. So, I'll be curious to see where this is at and how many reports there are in, just a year's time.
I
Uh,
wonder. I'll look.
yeah.
Look right now and see if there were any today.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, do you have an estimate for like how many of reports have you seen received to date?
Oh, I'll tell you that right now. Actually, I'll
Ooh.
give you real time numbers right now. I'm
Ooh.
hitting the dashboard.
Love it.
We have received the royal we. Let's see. We've received 205 reports
Okay.
globally, right? And there was one as late as January 14th was the latest occurrence, and that was reported. They saw it on the 14th and they reported it on the 16th to the site. So they
Mhm.
waited 2 days
Mhm.
to make the report.
Okay. Folks listening and watching, 200 you said 205?
That's right.
This launched just a couple of months ago, and you've already got
Yeah,
that
not
many.
even. Let's
Mhm.
see, when did I launch this?
That's
This
incredible.
this was released. Um, when did I release this? Really, I think I released it just before Christmas.
Oh,
So really
wow.
not that long ago. Let's see. I'm just hitting my phone here. Let's see. When did I release this? Yeah, December 14th. So a couple weeks before Christmas. Just about a month.
Whoa.
It's only
Whoa.
been a bit. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Well, scratch what I said before. I'm curious to see where this is at in a month.
Right? Right?
It's it is growing exponentially,
It
and,
is. And I need to get the word out more. I
mhm.
over the holidays I didn't, traveling and then getting back to work for the year. I didn't have a lot of time to push it on the various channels and platforms to get it out there. So
Yeah, well,
as much as I should have.
I'll be your huckleberry here. I'll certainly be pushing it. And I know Black Cat Report, Gil over there.
Oh, Gil's the
Yeah.
best.
Oh, he is. He's awesome. Yeah,
Don't let
just
him hear that, but he is the best. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut this part out. Actually, he can't know. his head will just explode.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, here, let's round it out here to the end. I just
Sure.
had a couple of questions. This one, I don't mean this to be a silly question. We kind of joked about a little CIA buddy spy before, but do you have any reason to believe that any agency has tried to make contact with you? Any kind of strange, I don't know, attempts to connect with you on this?
No, I don't think so. I pay attention to the devices on my network quite often.
Hmm.
If there's an unknown device on my network, it's gone pretty quick. I'm not searching my house for bugs by any means. But I do pay attention. I'm kind of techie, so I do pay attention to device performance, and
Hmm.
if it's lagging or using more data than it should, it kind of grabs my attention.
Okay.
Um, but I haven't noticed anything weird. Uh, I think that they're very aware of the Streisand effect, where if they highlight things too much, people look at it more. Do you ever hear of the Streisand effect?
No, what is that?
Barbara Streisand, there was an article about where her house was in Hollywood, and she made a big old stink about it. And I think there was a lawsuit or something that she sued. And I'm quoting the story, but essentially, her actions in trying to get it removed because she wanted more privacy drew more attention to it. So it's
Oh,
the Streisand effect. If they just
okay,
let
okay.
something, theoretically, I think some agencies or people are smart enough that if they know if they don't give something enough attention or make a big deal about it, it'll just stay in the background, right? So, but if they were covering this and saying that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, don't go look at the DroneTracker app, then
Mhm.
there may be more attention. So, but in all honesty, I haven't noticed anything unusual. I think um, maybe that's because of my approach too. I try not to be very sensationalist. I try to um, not point fingers. I don't want to influence without evidence what people are hypothesizing or thinking. The only thing I really try to do is provide information, right? I'm not out here saying this is China, this is Russia, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. This is
Mhm.
our I really don't know, right? All I want to do is help people be informed of real-time events. I don't want to speculate or sensationalize. I want to emphasize what data can help you do and help you get to the truth on your own, right? I'm not telling you what to think. I'm just giving you the tools to maybe explore your ideas and interpret things the way you might interpret them. You know things I don't know, right? You might look at things that I would never think to put on the map, right? You're like, oh, there's all these. What about agriculture? How many fields of, what's the land use there under all those sightings? Are they spraying anything on the fields? Is that possible? What about water supply? Blah, 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 blah. Like those are people, you can go look at this on your own and see it on the map, but I'm not going to I'm not going to lead you around by the nose and tell you what to think because I'm not smart enough to do that. I'm just smart enough to
Mhm.
color in the lines and put dots on a map. So that's that's the extent of what I'm willing to say I'm good at, right? So yeah, I would hate to influence and take up space in somebody's critical thinking with wrong information or like just fluff, right? Just if, for lack of a better word, just crap. I don't want to put crap out there. I just and maybe that's why I haven't seen that because I'm not hopefully not controversial, right? I'm just trying to help people see what's happening.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that people can see that too. I sure do. Well, I guess, oh, you already said you don't wanna speculate on what they are. You took my question. So,
No,
for my final
people
question.
even with Bigfoot, people try to when I'm
I
talking on podcasts, they try to get me to speculate, and I'm like, can't do that. I'm
Nope.
sorry. I just, I
Nope.
really can't. Now, don't get me wrong. If you, with that in mind, if I do come out and say what I think they are, I have a reason for saying it, right? So, and I want that to carry weight when I'm not just throwing, guesses out there. I want people to stop and say, wait a second, this guy never speculates,
Yeah.
and now he's saying definitively he thinks it's this. Why, right? I don't want to, be the boy who cried wolf on a lot of stuff. I just want to share my methods with people, show them how I'm doing things, why I'm doing the stuff I'm doing, looking at it certain ways, be pretty transparent, I would say. And then if I do ever get to something that I consider a definitive truth, I will be shouting it from the rooftops, trust me. But until then, I'm going to be tactful. I'm not going to speculate and really make claims that I can't back up.
Good on ya. I like that. There's
Trying.
more than enough people out there that are happy to speculate, with the, half cocked, not enough information yet.
Right, right. And
Yeah.
I will say that on both fronts, Bigfoot and drones, I'm still gathering information. I have a lot more information on Bigfoot. It's been going on a while, but
And you've had
yes.
an
And
experience.
I have firsthand experience with
Mhm.
what I believe to be a Bigfoot, and I still try to keep that bias out of my analysis. Even though that's hard to do, but I firmly think Bigfoot is out there. But when we get to the truth, I want people to be able to accept it and not say, "Well, he just manipulated his efforts so that he could prove his point." No,
Right.
that's not what I'm trying to do. Um, but it has provided a good driving energy and motivation to keep going, I will say.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, okay, last quick question. Have you seen a drone yet?
Uh, Years ago, this is a weird story. So, um, not in this recent, uh, not in the recent events, I will say. In the last month or so since this has really been in the headlines. But years ago, I was working and living kind of in Oklahoma, in Enid. And there's an Air Force base there for pilots training. And I don't know if they do drone training there, but I saw a drone that looked very, very, very unusual, just flying over neighborhoods. And I just attributed it to the Air Force base there, which I mean really makes sense, right? They're probably training and flying, but it's what they're doing. They're training pilots there, and I don't really know if they're training drone pilots there. But I only saw that one type of drone that one time. Never saw it again while I was there, and it just kind of stuck out to me. It was like it looked really weird, and I vaguely remember Googling it, and it matched like not a non-American type drone. So I was very like, did anybody else see that? And this map would have been great because I would have put it on there. Um,
I
I
was just
really
gonna
stopped and I was like, I wonder if anybody else is seeing this because this doesn't look like a U.S. drone that I've ever seen.
Oh.
And then I just kind of let it go because I never saw it again, never really thought about it until actually you just asked me. Weird, but
See?
yeah. So,
Exclusive, you guys. Exclusive information with Scott
but that's true. I
Tompkins.
mean, how long has this been happening?
Mhm.
Has it reached a fever pitch where it just sparked and now people are cognizant of it? Um, That's a good question, right? How long have there been drones that we just never even noticed, right? Because they weren't as obvious or they weren't as conspicuous as they are now. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions for that. But that was that anecdote I just shared was golly, 7 years ago at least. Um, so yeah,
Wow.
makes
Whoa.
you wonder.
It does. It does. I have not seen one yet, but, I don't even know what I'd do if I saw something very, very strange up in the I haven't seen a UFO yet either, and I'm so sad about it. Um,
Go to go to go to Sedona.
S Sedona. Okay,
Go to
that's the one.
Sedona, Arizona if you want to be persuaded that there are well, you already are, but if you want to have an experience that you find hard to explain, go to Sedona, Arizona and do a UFO tour.
Alright, yeah, yeah, I think, boy, they have a big, UFO library over there, actually. I think it's
Have
been
all
a
kinds
hot
of stuff,
spot
yeah.
for yeah. Well, dang, alright. Imma take a trip to Sedona this
It's worth
year.
it.
I gotta see one, man. I already believe, but it's nice to see one. Get that confirmation.
It will reinforce your beliefs, that's for sure. It's very interesting what goes on there. I was very skeptical, right? You go and this guy puts I'll tell you one story and then I swear you can kick me out of here. But
No, please.
you go and you do sign up for the tour, and this guy showed up with a Suburban. It had like a green turret on the top with a flashing light. It's very, kind of tacky, cheesy, kind of like you're like, oh, great, all right. But you follow this guy up to the airport plateau. I forget the name. I think it's like airplane plateau, airport plateau or something like that. And you park, and it's dark, and he calibrates, supposedly calibrates like surplus night vision goggles for you. And he tells you some other things. At least the tour I was on, he's like, he says he's had an encounter and he's been downloaded with all the information in the world, and he just wants to share this with everyone that comes on the tours and tell everyone about UFOs and aliens and stuff. So I'm like, I'm standing there, and naturally I'm open minded, obviously, because I do the Bigfoot Mapping Project. However, I'm still skeptical. I'm like, all right, this sounds like it sounds sensational, and I don't always lend a lot of weight to that. So then he gets to me, and he looks me in the dark. He gets like close to my face, and he looks me in the eyes, and he's like, "Oh, um, did you know you have a stigmatism in your right eye?" And I do. I actually do, right? And it's
Oh,
dark out. This guy's 6 inches from my face. How in the heck can he tell that? Um, so he puts the goggles on. He does his thing with the goggles, and you look up and you start watching the sky. And I swear, there's all kinds of things going, and they don't look like birds. They're lights, and they're not blinking or anything like that. And it's very hard to not be amazed, right? So, or at least it really, really made me very curious. Like, what's happening here?
yeah, yeah.
And there's stuff that goes all different directions, chasing each other. Like it was, you need to go to Sedona and do that. It was very worth it.
Oh, man, God, I would love that, dude. You just made me think of a real quick. I watched a video, TikTok video this morning. Just watching some last minute drone videos, but I'm not so
Hmm.
sure about this video, and it's been on my mind. And I wanted to download it and show you. I'll have to send you the link.
Okay, please
But
do.
it's just there are some things that are just so unexplainable, and we're capturing proof of it. And then it's just this light, and it's hovering, and it moves down slowly, and then all of a sudden in the camera you see it like straight up into the atmosphere, and it's just this light straight up into the atmosphere
Bizarre.
at a crazy speed, and then it's gone, like it disappears. Drones can only go so high as far as I understand, so I don't know, man.
I
Weirdness.
think we need to. It's interesting to bring up, and I'm not saying this video was AI. I just think it's an interesting thing to highlight, important thing to highlight
Hmm.
um, when you're talking evidence is that now the capabilities of AI are almost indistinguishable from
True. Yeah. Yeah.
some real videos, right? So I think that's only going to make finding the truth and really finding real evidence and having it be accepted that much more difficult. So just throw that out there that just as you're seeing things on the internet, always now, unfortunately, nowadays, my first instinct is to treat it as if it's AI first,
Hmm.
um, AI generated, and then try to disprove that it's AI, and then maybe I'll lend more weight to it, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Which
it's a
which
tough
is
it's a
it's
tough thing.
hard to do anyway when, you're only contact with a stranger on the internet. It's just going to be that one time, just the one video, and I don't know. I keep thinking about it because it was such crappy quality of video.
Yeah, that's
Like
actually
I
a good way to tell, right?
I just assumed, but you are absolutely right. We got to be very careful and keep our minds open, but question. I think question everything, especially in this day and age of
Yes,
AI,
yes.
the AI overlords. All right, Scott, this has been excellent. I so appreciate you. You were such a good dude. Um, let's close it out here. First, tell my audience where you would like them to go online and see all the fun stuff and follow you.
Sure, sure. So if you'd like to investigate, explore, contribute to the Bigfoot Mapping Project, you can go to bigfootmap.com and click on either one of the maps. You can go to the classic one or the new one. They both you could submit sightings there, but there's just some different features between the two. If you'd like to see some of the maps that I make or listen to the podcast that I host, you can go to Bigfoot Mapping Project on Instagram at Bigfoot Mapping Project, and all the information is there. I share a lot of updates and maps and information there. And then always, if you really want to reach out with questions or suggestions or anything else, you can always email me. I have a dedicated email for the Bigfoot Mapping Project, and that is scott@bigfootmap.com. So those are the easiest ways to get to me. And I do my best to reply. I do have a toddler, so I'm not always super fast to get back to you. But generally, I'll reply later in the evening or at night, and I go through my emails when it's after everyone's in bed. So
Right
feel free,
on.
please reach out.
Right on. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Would you like to leave my audience with any final thoughts, words of wisdom, or a piece of advice?
Yes, one of the things that I've learned, and I'm trying to incorporate in my efforts and my daily life, is whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm interested in or whatever I want to know an answer for. This is advice that I got from Amy Boo. Actually, read about it. The more you know, the more you understand about what's going on in whatever subject it is, the more prepared you'll be, and the more you'll get out of it. So just don't expect to be the best right away, and it's all learning curve, right? It really is, and that's life in general, isn't it?
Joe is drone wrangler, ornithologist to be, nicest dude in the Bigfoot field, Scott Tompkins. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm really finally glad to be here. It's taken a while. It's my fault. It's taken a
I've,
while, but
I've finally got you. Thank you so much, Scott. Ornithologist. Ornithologist is an expert on birds. I don't know what an ornithologist is. I never claimed to be a genius. Okay. Again, learn more about the drones and the phenomenon at DroneTracker.app. And if you have seen something, if you have a friend that's seen something strange up there in the sky, we don't have to split hairs. Submit your report. Submit it. We all have to contribute to get to some real answers. I suspect, I do, that there is still much to be learned about this phenomenon. Please support my guest, not just by sharing DroneTracker.app, though you should because it's awesome, but also the Bigfoot Mapping Project that can be found at bigfootmap.com. You can catch him every month live on his podcast. It's called Mapping Bigfoot, and that can be found on YouTube over under the Untold Radio Network's umbrella of, they've got a bunch of fantastic shows over there, and Scott's is one of them. And you can also follow him on social. That is always a great way to support. All of these links can be found in the show notes. Real quick, I am on an extended break right now. I will make an announcement when the show is back up and running. But I'm taking some downtime here, a little mental health breather, and taking some time to rework some things for the show. That being said, let me know if you enjoyed tonight's format, if you like this live kind of one-on-one. I feel like it's one-on-one with you guys, but if you like this format a lot, this might be something that I incorporate in the show moving forward for guest interviews and hopefully actually have them on with me. That would be rad. But, this was different. This was impromptu. This was fun, but I enjoyed it a lot. And let me know what you guys think. I think that is going to wrap us for now. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. Be sure you like the episode, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and share, share, share. And until next time, stay safe, keep the nightlight on, and sleep with one eye open.
A BetterHelp ad. Lewis Capaldi partnered with BetterHelp to get word out about how important therapy can be.
Or I struggle most weeks to get myself up and ready and go to therapy or whatever. Even to open the laptop to talk to my therapist sometimes can be really difficult. But I do it because I realise how important it is for me to continue to feel good. 'Cause I felt the best I've felt in a long time through therapy.
Learn more about online therapy at betterhelp.com.